Hey Forge family, today we have a really important topic to discuss: food safety. We all need to eat, right? But some of the things we buy at the grocery store can actually make us sick if we aren't careful. In fact, even though the US is one of the leading countries for food safety research and regulations, almost a sixth of the population gets a foodborne illness every year. That's according to Jagdish Khubchandani, a professor of public health. More than 100,000 people are hospitalized, and sadly, over 3,000 die from these illnesses every year. So, what can we do to keep ourselves and our families safe? Let's take a look at 5 grocery items that food safety experts avoid and why you might want to steer clear of them too. First up is pre-cut fruit. Sure, it's super convenient to grab a container of pre-cut fruit at the store, but according to Darren Detweiler, who's an expert in food safety, it's not always the safest choice. He says that while it's nice to save time, we should never put convenience over safety. Detweiler has actually witnessed supermarket workers cutting up fruit right after cleaning the floors without washing their hands. That's where contamination happens. Once the fruit is cut and exposed to bacteria, it's easy for pathogens to grow. You won't even realize anything's wrong until you get home. Open the package and notice the fruit is rotten or fermented. The takeaway? It's better to buy whole fruit and cut it yourself at home, where you know everything is clean. Now let's talk about ready-to-eat cooked foods. You've probably seen these in the grab-and-go section of your grocery store. And they're tempting, right? They're quick, easy, and don't require any cooking. But Detweiler warns against them. The problem is, it's hard to keep hot foods hot and cold foods cold. And if they're left in what's known as the danger zone, that's between 40 and 140 degrees Fahrenheit, bacteria can grow fast. And if that food's been sitting there for more than 2 hours, it becomes a breeding ground for bacteria. Detweiler also points out that these foods are often handled by workers who might not always follow the best hygiene practices, which adds to the risk. So, next time you're tempted by that quick meal, it might be safer to skip it or make something fresh at home instead. Another item experts avoid is bagged lettuce. While it seems like a time saver, bagged lettuce has been linked to far too many outbreaks of E. coli and listeria. Detweiler explains that many grocery stores even bag their own leafy greens without knowing where the lettuce came from or how many heads went into each bag. It's scary to think that after all these incidents, we still trust those bags of pre-washed greens. But the reality is, no matter how convenient they are, you're better off buying a whole head of lettuce and washing it yourself. Sure, it takes a little extra time, but it's worth it to avoid the risk of getting sick. Moving on to deli counter items. Khubchandani and Detweiler both say they avoid these, especially chicken and ground beef. Why? According to Detweiler, deli employees often don't know much about food safety. They may not follow the first in, first out rule, which means some items could have been sitting there for way too long. Employees might not even know where the products came from or how long they've been in the case. On top of that, deli workers might come to work sick or not follow the best hygiene practices, which can lead to contamination. While there are regulations in place to keep these items safe, the reality is that problems are still pretty common. Instead of buying deli meats and salads, Detweiler recommends buying pre-packaged products with labels that include brand names, dates, and lot codes. That way, you know exactly what you're getting and can trace it back if there's ever a recall. And finally, let's talk about cantaloupe. You might love this sweet, juicy fruit, but it comes with some serious risks. In 2011, cantaloupe was the source of a deadly listeria outbreak that killed 33 people and sickened nearly 150 others. Why is cantaloupe so dangerous? Well, its skin has grooves that are tough to clean, and bacteria can easily get trapped in them. When you cut into a cantaloupe, the bacteria from the outside gets transferred to the inside, and then it multiplies rapidly. Detweiler advises people to stay away from cantaloupe in restaurants because there's no way to know how well it was washed. And even if you buy a cantaloupe to cut up at home, he recommends not saving any leftovers, because the longer it sits, the more pathogens can grow. So, Forge family, those are the 5 items food safety experts won't buy at the grocery store. It's important to be mindful of what we're putting into our carts because even though it's easy to assume everything in the store is safe, that's not always the case. Taking a few extra precautions, like buying whole fruits and vegetables, avoiding pre-cooked meals, And being careful with deli items can go a long way in keeping you and your family healthy. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join the Forge family. Let's keep looking out for each other and making smarter, safer choices. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.